Hello, everyone. This is Silk, and we are doing Operation Thunderball Turn 16.4 Japan. Coming closer to endgame here. I actually need to move my turn marker to that. We're all the way over here. We're not on 14. We're on 16. Uh, End of roll. Starts next turn here. End of turn 17. So at a minimum, everybody has 2 turns left. After that, it might turn out to be 3 or 4 or 5. We'll see how it ends up. But end game is coming. You're going to see a little more desperation as people try to move to just take points and get things going. Um, May do a bit longer of a tactical recap this turn than I've done in the previous ones. We'll see. But for now, we're just doing Japan, 16-4. First thing we're going to start off with, of course, is our tech rolls. We, in this case, have improved factories, and then we have radar, and then we have long-range aircraft, which is notably not the way I normally roll my technologies. I've pretty regularly just done them straight in order according to the chart, but we've had such a terrible time trying to get improved factories that I actually rolled improved factories first, and then did radar and LRA in a lame attempt to appease the PBE gods. Uh, Fortunately for me, however, it totally worked, and we did in fact finally complete improved factories. Was planning on having that done about 3 turns ago, but we got where we got to, so it's now at least done. Did not pick up either radar or LRA, but they're both kind of quality of life text at this point. If I get them, great. If I don't, I'll be fine. I have my core 4 techs. So moving along to our purchase phase, as you can see, we are still doing a massive naval construction program with our heavy battleships. We are getting 6 of them. That is 2 to finish these 2 that are at stage 2. It is 2 more to advance the 2 that are at stage 3 to stage 1 to stage 2, and then there's 3 to 2, I should say, and then to place 2 more at stage 3. So we're gonna finish 2, advance 2, and place 2. We're gonna go ahead and grab ourselves a destroyer and a fighter, and then total of 3 infantry, 2 marines, 3 militia, and we're going to start construction on a fortification in Calcutta because I think the Brits are going to come and try to take it from me, and I'd really kind of like to keep it. So that's what that is. Just do some quick math here. It's 36, and the 4 is 40, so that's 40 IPP right there. That's 50. Then what? 56 and 8 is 64, and then plus the 9 is 73. So that is all 73 of our IPP. Force and combats, and we are definitely going to have some this turn. Going to have to send ourselves a letter to Papa Stalin here. We're receiving some complaints about our Chinese neighbors. Over here in Suyan, there was a single infantry over here, and that was great. He was quiet, kind of stood to himself. There was no complaints from Rihi. Everything was moving along just fine, no problems. And then somehow he invited some of his friends here. In particular, an artillery showed up. Artillery are loud. They're kind of obnoxious. They don't make for good neighbors. They tend to break things. So we're going to have a conversation with these folks here about just being good neighbors and behaving properly. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that problem. And just on the off chance that they don't understand the message, we're going to go ahead and use some 105 millimeter cannons that we have on these heavy armor here. So moving into Suyan, we're going to take 2 infantry and a heavy armor from Rihi. We're going to take a marine from Peking into Suyan. We're going to take a heavy armor from Hopei into Suyan. And then from Szechuan, we're going to take this motorized, and it's going to tow an artillery to Hopei and then into Suyan. And then we're also going to bring a heavy armor from Szechuan into Hopei and then into Suyan. And go have a friendly chat with our CCP neighbors there. Going into Shanxi here, I thought we also had kind of a reasonable understanding that Japan likes territories that are worth money, and somehow some other folk showed up and seemed to think that it's their stuff, and so we've got kind of a neighborly conflict here. So we're gonna go have a chat with them, explain to them that they need to get a better map and a better compass system. We also are going to use some 105mm shells to drive that message home, and we're just going to move everything that is left from Szechuan into Shensi. That will be 3 infantry, a marine, a mountain brigade, 2 artillery, 2 medium armor, 2 heavy armor. Dealing with this French sub, we are going to attack it with a seaplane on map. It's going to come over and try to sink that darn thing. Not that we've had much luck with that. Down here in C-Zone P50 raiding, these 2 submarines are going to come off because they've got other things to do. But we are going to raid with the 2 coastals that are there, and the submarine that's in I-11 is going to swing over to P50, and it will also raid the British there. Now, oh, yeah, so I'm going to slightly break the rules just a touch here, just sort of ease of reference for everybody to kind of see what's going on. From my carrier fleet in P50, there's going to be a single non-combat movement of a fighter. It's just going to fly 1, 2, 3, 4 and land over here in Queensland. We're going to try to clear out some of those subs next turn and not get smashed quite as heavily as we're getting smashed there. So that's what that fighter does. And then the tactical bomber that's in Cochin China is going to end up landing on that carrier spot. Because we're going to go attack the Americans. We've got I've kind of got them designated as the 6th and the 7th Fleet. It is all these units over here. It's the 2 carriers with the fighters on it, 2 heavy cruisers, 5 destroyers, 4 light cruisers. And we're going to try to send them to the bottom here. This TBD destroyer stays in P50. This destroyer stays in P50. Just about everything else, however, is going to slide down to P69. I've got 5 battleships, 2 heavy battleships, 4 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, a tactical bomber, 4 fighters, 1 light carrier, 2 fleet carriers. All move to P69 to have a nice giant air fight. Hopefully we're gonna wipe this out fast enough. It's not gonna damage me too bad, but this battle is a little swingy. Naval fights always are. So we'll see how we handle it. But I'm a little concerned about my Air Force. He's got a really good anti-air force built between his 2 fighters and his 4 light carriers. But I got to take this chance. He's exposed a lot of units. I should be able to sink the carriers and probably wipe out most of this, if not all of it. So we'll see how the dice end up treating us with that. I believe that is all of our combat moves. Don't think we have anything else. So let's try to do the fast ones quickly. I've got a single attack with my seaplane on this French submarine. It hits at a 3. It misses. That will submerge the sub, however. We'll do our rating over here. The red is the attacker, the black is the defender. We'll start with the coastal subs. They are at +1, but the black die is at +2, so I got to roll higher than him by a decent number. So that's 0. Second coastal is 0, and then the real sub is just kind of an even up roll because I'm +2 and he's +2. We're having a terrible time successfully comboing these guys. Oh, that does it. So 6 + 2 is 8, and 1 + 2 is 3, so that's a net of 5 damage. We're maxed out at 3 because it's just 1 to FEC and 2 Anzac, but we are please just punch to finally do some damage there. So that will be 1 off the FEC and 2 off of Anzac, which we are definitely wanting to keep the Anzac income down since they're so low here. We're trying to kind of strangle them after all. So let's go ahead and grab these forces up here in China. Oh, missed one. We've got 3 infantry and a mountain and artillery. So there's our first strike. Oh, these are small dice. I want to use big dice. Let's get rid of these for you guys. I want to use my big dice for this sort of thing. Alright, so we got a first strike. We've got some infantry and a mountain. Meanwhile, Japan is going to go ahead and rumble on in here. We are fighting in a mountain, so all of our units are at least initially at -1. So this artillery here will bump up our marine to a 2. And then my 3 heavy armor drop from 8s to 7s. So 3 at 7. Oh, again, use the big dice. So 3 at 7. We'll have 2 at 2, one of which is a first strike. And then 3 at 1. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the first strikes out of the way here. Mine misses. His hits. So yay for that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and lose an infantry. So I lose a die. That was a little disappointing. And now we'll roll units that I'm hoping are actually going to do my damage. Oh, fantastic, 3 5s. So that's 3 hits right there. I've got my boosted marine, who misses, and then I've got my 2 1s for kind of my schleps here. They both miss, but I'm perfectly happy going 3 for 3 with my armor there. He still has his 3 infantry shooting back. They're at 4s. 12 8 5. So that's all misses, and a mountain at 5. This is going great. So that's a hit. So I lose another infantry, but we kill 3, which I'm sure he'll lose 2 infantry and artillery there. So that gets him down to only having 2 dice left. Hopefully we're going to finish this without too many more casualties. We go ahead and press, relying that our heavy armor is going to carry the day. They only get 1 hit. These guys are at 2s. That's a whiff, and this last guy's at 1. So only the 1 hit. So that's a bit of a disappointment. Meanwhile, a 4 and a 5 is no hits. We're happy with that. Round 3. There's no blitzing going on, so none of that really matters. 1 last hit from the tank, and he can try to kill something, which he misses. That was kind of you there, Mr. Mountain. Alright, so we take the province with 3 heavy armor, 1 motorized, 1 infantry, and a marine. And she goes back to Japanese control, so that'll be 1 off the CCP and 2. And then we have our other fight here. This one's a little more interesting just because I have so many units. I wasn't sure how I was going to split my heavy armor up. And hopefully the fact that he has these He's Cav. If his artillery missed me, should be in good shape. He does have more units, but he doesn't really have as many pip dice here. From a danger level, and I kind of have more units bringing in, so I was pretty happy with this fight setup here. So we'll see how we do. So there's the defenders, and then meanwhile, let's bring our attackers over. You only have 2 heavy armor at 7s. But we do have 2 medium armor at 5s. So I'm kind of hoping that's going to help to make up for it. And instead of only having 1 artillery, I have 2 artillery. So that'll give me 2 first strikes at 2. I've got a marine that's going to be, or a mountain, I'm sorry. Mountain that's fighting at 2. And we're going to boost both a marine and an infantry with my 2 artilleries. They will also be fighting at 2s. And then we've just got our 2 Schlepp infantry. We have 1s here that may not even live very long if his artillery shoot me. So we'll see how that goes. So that's kind of how that lays out there. These are my 5s. These are my 7s. Alright, so first things first, we have my first strikes and his first strikes. So let's get those going. Mine though are at 2, and his are at 3. Hoping we get some misses here. Oh, no, he got 1. So he kills an infantry right off the bat. Not a great start for the good guys. Here goes our armor, our 5s and our 7s. Uh-oh. Oh, no, it worked out okay. So 4 and 4. So I got 2 hits. Again, I just kind of gotta chew through them here. I got 3 dice at 2s. Nothing. And then my last guy at 1. Definitely would have liked a 3rd hit here, but 2 could have been worse. So he's got 2 back at 2s. So as long as he doesn't punish me. Oh, that's a bad start. So there's a hit. And what else we got? Punish me some more. Oh, I got lucky though. Mountain missed. So I kill 2 and he kills 2, which I'm perfectly happy with that arrangement as it turns out. So he loses the 2 there. I already lost the infantry from the first strike, so we'll lose the infantry there. So that puts the end of that. But now he's got 2 3s and 2 5s, but I still have my armor to kind of hopefully clean this up here. So 2 7s, round 2, 1 hit, 2 5s, no hits. And then we have 5 at 2. Oh, thank God, got 1 hit. So a total of 2 hits there. And then him coming back at me, he's got 2 3s and 2 5s. So he's got a hit. So I do 2 to him and kill the 2 artillery. He does 1 to me. I lose an infantry. So that strips that die out. But he's now down to just 2 dice left. So this should finish this pretty fast here. We've got 2 7s and 2 5s here in round 3. Let the armor do their thing. So the heavy armor fails, but the medium armor gets the job done. That's 2 hits there. I'll roll these just on the off chance that I miss something. And get at least 1 more hit. So I'm kind of +1 hit-wise there. And he's got 2 5s. We'll see if he kills a marine or artillery or what he does. 10 12, I'll take it. So that's right there. We take Shensi with 2 marines, 2 artillery, still have our armor. We're running out of our kind of weak chaff now. But the CCP, that should more or less put an end to them as a fighting force. So I think that's going to let us now focus on dealing with the KMT. If they try to... Oh, that was bad. Just lost a bunch of my pieces. There they are. Got stuck to the bottom there. So, 2 heavy armor, 2 medium armor, artillery. Alright. So Shanxi falls back to Japan. So CCP, that should take them back down to 0. Should take Japan back to 61. A little bummed that we're south of the Americans, but there's just not much territory left that we can take other than dear old Sydney here. But I don't know that we're ever going to get Sydney. They're pretty well locked in there. Alright, and now we get to do kind of the fun fight here. So let's grab ourselves some U.S. boats. So I do have some instructions from Global War Enthusiast on kind of priority-wise how he wants his units to go here. So hopefully, fortunately, his instructions were pretty clear and understandable. I don't think we're going to have too much of trouble kind of assigning the hits the way he's going to want them to be assigned. It's really, he's mostly going after my Air Force as best he can. And I'm going to try to just kind of wipe him out to a man. So it's pretty easy to kind of understand. The catch is there's a couple things because of the way these light cruisers are going to interact with the units that I'm bringing in. As well, I have more heavy cruisers than he does. He has more light cruisers than I do. So he's going to have a much easier time targeting my planes and killing them. The big difference, however, is my battleships are going to do, hopefully, dice willing here, my battleships are going to do quite a number on his surface fleet. And hopefully, because of their resiliency, take a relatively limited amount of damage back. And you guys are kind of hanging out over here in the zeros. Oh, missed a plane. So 4 fighters, 1 attack bomber, and all the glorious battleships. 2 heavies and 5 regular BBs. Those big guns are going to wreak some havoc, I hope. So let's get some dice for that. We'll get some dice for heavies. We'll get 4 dice for my planes. And then I'll roll those same dice a second time, I think, after my cruisers. So there's that. He's a target select. Oh, and my submarines. These 2 submarines are down here. They also have target select, but only on a 1. So it's a lot harder for them to do any real target select shenanigans. Let's get these dice off the board. And for the bad guys, these guys are target select. These 2 guys have the same air superiority that my fighters have. And then kind of, as it turns out, he has the same thing as I do. He has 2 fighters and 2 coastals. So we're just going to let those guys kind of roll at the same time. Or roll, I should say, same dice, but not the same time. Because they have to roll at different times because of the way combat works. And then, I have any pinks for those guys? Okay, I'll use the teals. I'll use teal dice for these guys. Don't do a whole lot. They're only 1s, so they're not gonna do a whole lot. Alright, let's try to make sure I did not miss any units here. Those guys deliberately stayed home. Everything else that could get here got here. I've pulled all of his units over. We were good. Okay. All right, here we go. First thing always has to be air superiority. Just because of the length of this fight, I'm actually going to use these things here just to make some life a little easier. All right. Oh, that was nice. Oh my gosh. Wow, 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 wow. So 2, 2, 2, and a 3. I want to make sure the 3's there visible. That's ridiculous. So 4 air superiority hits. Good God. To a 6 and a 12, so he got 1. He doesn't get to decide yet. So that will make me lose a fighter, and he's going to lose all 4 of his planes. These 2 still get to shoot, but they're not first strikes by any stretch. But that is how the air superiority shots go down there. He's still going to have some target selects here, so he may still make me lose more planes as we go. So we'll get to the fleet now. My heavies are at 10s. That's a 5 and a 4. So that's 2 hits there. My regulars are at 8s. Oh, not great. 6, 10, 11, 9, 6. So only 2 hits. So that's a total of 4. This is my tactical here. He hits on a 7 and has a target select on a 1 to 3. And so he just misses. Here's these guys. They have nothing left to target select, as it turns out, so they just hit on 5s. So they get 1 hit. And then last thing are my submarines, which will target select on a 1 and hit on 3s. 2 4s. There's a bummer. So 9 hits, just a little lower than what I was hoping for, but perfectly good as far as close enough to average. That was not a disaster by any stretch, and I'm super happy killing all 4 of his planes in the opening get-go. That's just wonderful. All right, so now I got to deal with the blowback here. Oh, nope, I still have 1 more roll. That's right. I've got my 4 coastals here, or heavy cruisers. Hate my mic. So 1, 12, 5, 10 are our dice here, and we're hitting at 6s or less. So that actually does get me to 11 hits, which is a bit over my average expected value. So that was indeed a perfectly good turn for the good guys here. 7 of which is going to go off of his ships. He's going to take 4 to kill his 2 guys there, and then 1, 2, 3. So he loses his 4 planes and then takes 7 hits off of his boats. And we'll see how the defense goes here. His tacticals will go ahead and roll. They are at 5s and have target select on 3 or less. So they miss. Get these 2 guys here. his heavy cruisers here are at 6s. Oh, 12 and 7. Jeez, that's being nice. These are the big one here. I've got 4 light cruisers all at 5, and they are going to target select my planes on a 1 to 3. He's got 4 planes to target select, and he really wants to kill this tactical. So we'll see how they do here. That's a 1, so that's a dead plane, and that's a dead plane. So I lose my tactical and one of my fighters. I certainly knew my Air Force was going to get pounded all this, and that's definitely what happened there. Then we got our 5 destroyers hitting 4, so that's 2 hits. And then last thing are just his 2 carriers at 1 before they go down here. They get a 12 and a 5, so that's not going to be anything. So I've got 2 hits from the destroyers that I have not registered here. So I think we'll lose our light carrier because the planes are gone, so it's not going to need anything for that. And then with the other hit, I think we're going to damage one of my battleships. Oh, don't need the full bag. Just want the 1 marker. So that causes one of my battleships to fall down here to the 6s. So these planes are all gone. These planes are gone. As the Air Forces kind of cease to exist here. And then those guys are gone, and his destroyers are gone. He does not have any submarines that are forced to dive down, so that's not a factor. He's left with 2 destroyers, 4 light cruisers, 2 heavy cruisers. There's his there. I, meanwhile, have 2 fighters, but air security no longer matters. My tactical's gone. My 4 battleships that are undamaged still roll at 8s. My 2 heavy still roll at 10s. Then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at 6s. 2, 3, 4. I think for this roll we're going to use the giant thing too, because there's just so many dice here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I then just have my 2 5s and my 2 3s, as my 2 carriers still don't get to do anything. So let's go ahead and I'm going to clear this out. I'm going to reset all my damage counters just to make sure I'm keeping track of things. Trying to go slow enough here that nothing gets missed. But I'm sure all you out YouTube land will catch me if I do. So I do have some confidence there. So let's go ahead. The purples and the oranges. The purples are 10s. The oranges are 8s. And I can't keep stuff rolling in that we're just going to try. There we go. See how we do here. Wow, that's a lot of 10s. So this 110 that's on the purple is a hit, but the other 10s, so that's a 4. So this orange is a 4 here. And then I've got 3 10s, which is 2 orange 10s and a purple 10. And then I've got an orange 6 and a purple 11. So the purple 10's a hit, and then the orange 4 and the orange 6 are both hits. So that gets us 3. And we've got, oh, trying not to grab the plane there. These are all our 6s here. So that 216799999. So the 2, the 1, and the 6 that are all right here are all gonna hit, but these all dice all miss. But that's 3 more hits. And then these are small enough that I don't mind just rolling them on the board here. Those are at 5s, so that's one more hit. And these are at 3s. Almost, but 7 and 10. So I do 7 hits. Please tell me he has 8 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my god, that's incredible. Wow. So my screenshot's actually going to be incorrect, because we're not going to be in C-Zone 69. That is incredible. Alright. So he gets his shots back. He's got 2 at 4 with his destroyers, which is a 11 and 9. That's 2 misses. He's got at 5s 2 hits there, and at 6s 7 and 8. So he only got 2 hits. That is lovely. So he's going to lose everything but his heavy cruiser at that point, because I do 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I take 2 back, which definitely 1 is going to be a damaged battleship. And I think we'll damage a heavy with the other one. Again, we are actually really happy about that, because this means we don't actually have to finish the fight. And I've still accomplished just about everything I could have ever hoped for there. So the U.S. does survive as we retreat. And we'll leave that heavy cruiser there. But we'll come back to here, which is absolutely critical, because our movement range to get back to where we want to be. It was a possibility that I was going to retreat, kind of depending on how much he had left. Even at 2 or 3 units, I think I would have pretty happily retreated as far as that goes. But getting it down to a single guy is just great. My Air Force did take a beating, as I anticipated that was going to happen. It was very possible I was going to lose at least one of my fleet carriers there, depending on how the fight had gone out. But in this case, I'll live with it kind of as is, keep the carriers around, and try to build some more fighters and put them on there if I can manage it. Oh yeah, no, these guys go on my support fleet marker here. They go on the 8th, along with the 4 heavy cruisers. And the big boys. We've got 2 damaged battleships, 1 damaged heavy battleship, and then 3 undamaged battleships, and 1 undamaged heavy battleship, which easily keeps us rolling with Kita Batai without any troubles at all. I would have been willing to damage all of those battleships if I had to there, as far as I'm concerned. So now we have our non-com units here. I'm going to put that plane here, so I forget to remember. So this plane was the one that took off from the carrier there and flew over 1, 2, 3, 4, just in case anybody wasn't sure where that one came from. My tactical died, of course, but that is what it is. Now we're going to try to see this. So I got to do some quick math here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can come after me with these two and all of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. No, he can't. His battleships can't make it. 1, 2, 3. So his battleships cannot make that track. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 units. Plus these two is 18. Neither of my reinforcements can get there. But these two can if I want them to. I'm sure this is riveting here, guys. Sorry. 22, 23, 24. That's pretty good. I think with the fact that his battleships can't make it and mine can, I think means Hambone doesn't try to kill me. And the U.S. can't get to me to help. 1, 2, 3. So he could just do a lone attack at best with this heavy cruiser, but it may die to the first strikes from my two submarines there. So I don't think Global War Enthusiast will try that. I think he'll just slide around and reconstitute his fleet there, or maybe he may move up here and attack me up there. There's all sorts of choices he's got, but I don't think assaulting this major fleet here is what he's going to do. So the key part of that then is lets me save a destroyer. So there's TBD destroyer here, and P50 is going to slide across to whatever this zone is, sitting off of Maharashtra. Should look kind of similar. He's not going to be long for this world. He'll get splattered by a tactical bomber. We're just trying to kind of keep the barbarians at bay for a little while here. This destroyer in P50 is going to then come down to P61 and join the main fleet there, and add to what I have in place. The other nice advantage is that if I was here, my planes would not have had a safe landing zone. But here they do. They can't land in Timor. So I can actually, if he attacks me, take all of my opening casualties on these carriers and not care. And so it's kind of almost four free wounds, and then I've got 3 more battleships that can get damaged. So I have 7, and potentially an 8th and a 9th here, and a 10th here. Like I could take 10. I could take 10 wounds that doesn't actually kill any of my relevant dice rolling units. Makes for a really, really terrifying fleet. This is a scary fleet. I'm not sure how the Brits are going to deal with it. We'll see what they came up with, but it's definitely pretty scary. This seaplane goes back home, having gone on map and failed, of course. This heavy battleship is going to come out of P51 and come down to P41. Just hang out there with this destroyer. Again, I'm not entirely sure where the bad guys are going to go. I think he's going to bring down with him, though. He's going to bring down a Marine. He's going to go from Korea to, actually, 1, 2, yeah, that's what he can do. So it has to be from Korea. So he's going to bring a Marine from Korea over here to Kwangtung on that destroyer. Just as an additional unit. And then this transport is actually going to strategic naval move. This submarine's been suppressed because of this French sub's been suppressed from the map attack. So he's going to just strategic naval move and actually go around. It's P14, P32 to the Guam territory, to the Volcano Islands, and then back up, and he slides into port here in Tokyo Bay and hides out up there. Where we can hopefully get him to do something useful sometime here soon. Can't rail any of them. We're going to rail a artillery out of Kwangtung. It's going to slide across, go throh Anang Tonkin, through Burma, Bengal, and to get to Benares to meet up with the other artillery that's already there. And then this infantry in Burma actually is going to rail the two. So he's going to go from Bengal to Benares and call himself good there. Pretty happy with where they're at. I think that is all of my non-combats. I've moved just about every Japanese unit there is to move. Oh, I was going to swap. So this infantry is going to go, well, do I want to? No, I'll keep it as is. So I'll keep so it should be, I'm at 5 infantry, a marine, and 2 militia here in Tokyo currently. Alright, let's get to, place you, oh, right, I did my rail. I did my 2 rail. Yeah. This is that part where we talk about how, your brain tries to remember everything that happened, and it doesn't always work. You have so many things going on. 2 heavy battleships get placed. They'll go into port here in Tokyo Bay, along with that destroyer that came off the line. So these 4 guys are just gone. They are actually these 2 guys and these 2 guys. This fighter, we're going to try to get rid of these goddamn submarines. He's going to go here at Kyushu. Give me a second unit that can go on map and attack these submarines. I then have an artillery that I want to put in Rihi. I have 2 infantry that I want to put in Calcutta. We'll chip that out, and I'll try to do a forced disposition here. And then I've got a infantry and an artillery that are going to go in Siam. And then we've just got our militia to place and our fort. So the fort is currently under construction in Calcutta here. So they're kind of working on that. I think they're going to get it done. With this destroyer here, the Brits can't actually launch a naval invasion at us. So we're going to have time enough to finish that fort. And we've got our 3 militia. One of which I believe is going in Calcutta. Yep, 3rd militia. So Calcutta has all of its militia now. We then put one way down here in New South Wales. And I believe it's Kwangtung. Yep, it's Kwangtung. Just in case KMT get spicy. I don't think they're going to, but they might. They have the option. I want to change that since I brought the marine over 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I will. So if it's all right with you guys, I'm actually going to make a slight change here. That infantry that was in Burma that I railed over to Benares, he's actually going to stay there. And I'm going to instead, it's still going to be a rail, but it's going to be an infantry from Kwangtung. Does the same rail and goes to Benares. Just lets my guys here in India, I get to have 2 guys sitting in Burma instead of just the 1 militia. So kind of like that as a concept here. Let's do a unit recap, right? Is there anything else I wanted to do? I think I'm good. Is that next turn? Is he gonna attack me? Don't think he's gonna attack me. It's always famous last word questions. If he does, my armor can come back. Okay, I'm good. This is always kind of an odd spot when you're having peace here. Bruce and I are both kind of doing a pretty good job of trying not to threaten the other one too much to force a counter kind of thing, and it's letting us spend our money other places. Bruce is getting to spend it fighting the Germans. I'm getting to spend it fighting the Allies, and it's kind of serving both of our needs to some degree. Sorry about that, Panzer J. but it is kind of working out for us, I think. Appreciate all your work, which this has been brilliant, by the way. Panzer J has just done an excellent job of holding up a really large Russian army with just a smaller but faster kind of mobile force that he's using, where it's just his armor stack, and he's spreading it out with his stuff, with his paratroopers and planes, and just reinforcing. It's absolutely incredible. I'm really impressed with that. Well done, sir. I absolutely appreciate all of your efforts to kind of hold the motherland as we head to endgame here. So that should be it for placement. Let's go ahead and get to unit recap. So the army in Siam is a marine, an artillery, a motorized, and 3 heavy armor. Riki's got a single artillery. Korea's got a single marine. Hopei's got a militia. Shensi has got 1 mountain, 1 marine, 2 artillery, 2 medium armor, 2 heavy tanks. Good luck with that, KMT, because they are coming for you. Kwangtung has got 4 infantry, 1 marine, 2 militia, 2 artillery. You are welcome to come across this fortification if you want to. I don't think it's going to work out for you well, but if you want to give it a shot, by all means. Vietnam's empty. In Siam, I've got 3 infantry, 1 militia, 2 artillery. In Burma, I've got an infantry and a militia. In Calcutta, I've got 5 infantry, 3 marines, and a half-built fortification. In Benares, north of Calcutta, I've got 2 artillery and an infantry. Southern India's got a militia. Maharashtra's got a militia. In Delhi, I've got a marine, an infantry, a light armor, a medium armor, and 3 heavy armor. On P50, hanging out, doing some raiding, I've got 2 light subs, coastal subs, and a real sub. P41, I've got a destroyer and a heavy battleship. In port, in P15, I've got 2 heavy battleships and a destroyer. In Tokyo, I've got a single transport and port. I've got a fighter, a seaplane, a militia hanging out in Kyanchu. In New South Wales, I've got an infantry and a militia. In Queensland, I've got 3 infantry, 2 marines, 3 artillery, a militia, an AA gun, a fighter, 3 heavy armor. And our beloved fleets here. I've got 2 submarines, 1 destroyer, 4 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, 2 fleet carriers, 2 fighters, a undamaged heavy battleship, 3 undamaged battleships, a 1 damaged, so he still has 2 hit points left, a 1 damaged heavy battleship, 2 damaged battleships. And I think I mentioned the 2 subs. Oh, dear old Ceylon has a single infantry. He's never coming back to life again. Dear old Malaya's got a single militia. And that should be everything. Apologies on the long video, but we had a whole lot to do. You kind of have your little turns and your strike turn, and this one was definitely a strike turn. I guess the next one's going to be a little turn, but we'll see what the British do. They can. Brits may come for me. They have the option, but it's going to hurt if they do. So we'll see. I'm guessing they're going to kind of reconfigure themselves and try to get some other elements going, but we'll see what they come up with. That should be it for me. We'll send you over to Hambone, and I may do a big tactical recap on this turn. There's a lot going on that you guys are all going to see, I think. Kind of the nature of it. As the game gets closer to end game, people start doing bigger swing kind of moves. So that's something you're going to see. So that's it for me. Everybody have a great night, and game on.